I don't know if y'all have both dealt with this, but the worst thing to hear in education, it's the way I've always done it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the way I've always done it. Why are we changing? Do y'all hear that?
Yep.
I've always filled out the resale contract like this.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're
Things change.
You're breaking the law.
Contracts change all the time.
You're breaking the law. I've always pushed this product. Well, you're not doing what's best for your client.
Mm-hmm.
You're not offering them investment opportunities. You're going to maximize
Just
their
rigid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, this is like, I don't know if this is necessarily a salesism. I think it's just a behavioral idea, but it's that people are going to maintain the status quo until the price of the status quo exceeds the price of change,
Yeah.
right? And so eventually you get to a point, and I think making people realize that there's a pain of maintaining the status quo that they just never really realize. And so that can be kind of a change agent as well, probably for a lot of these teachers, that it's like, hey, get with the times, because you know, consistently looking at the patterns of your success are dwindling. But you keep doing the same thing. Is it you or is it the kids?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, and my kids complain we just get packets.
Mm-hmm.
Or teachers that, like, we just take notes. I'm like, we take notes in here. I'm like, they go, it's not the same.
Right.
The way we do notes in here is way different. Because we watch a little bit of Heimler video, and then when we're done, we might take notes. But so if a kid misses my class, they can get the notes.
Right.
What they don't get is the extra stuff that I talk about that's not in our content. The stuff that
With the real value.
Yeah.
the
The
Darrylism.
bonus question.
Yeah. Because like I tell them, like, I read and they start to understand where I get a lot of my stuff. Is like I get a lot from watching Anthony Bourdain shows, because he does such a good job of talking about the history. You know, in the Rome episode, Benito Mussolini. It's like whenever you start to tell the story of Benito Mussolini, women loved him. He's not a very attractive man.
Nope.
But he had power in the way he talked, and he has charisma. And the kids are watching this and they're like, oh yeah, we kind of see that. So they need that visual. And when they see it, and they're like, did they really hang him upside down?
Well, and I think also the kids nowadays, they grew up with like YouTube and stuff, so they are more visual people than
TikTok.
they are. Yep.
You got to kind of harness the power, though. You know, YouTube's awesome, but it also sucks a lot. But
there's a lot of bad stuff out there, like a lot of misinformation.
Yeah. But I mean, and so you've found a way to really harness that and direct it towards the kids who are, the auditory, the kinesthetic, and then there's obviously kind of the tactile learners too. And I think that's probably what a lot of people don't understand, is that you have to be all three from a teacher. In some areas I'm stronger than others, but you have to realize that who it is that's on the other side of the desk or whatever the case may be, you have to bring the message to them in that style as well.
Well, and teachers being flexible, I don't know why my students think that I'm not flexible. Maybe because I appear rigid in class, but like, I want everything turned in electronically. I want everything turned in on Google Classroom. I don't want to handle any papers. Then you can't say, well, you lost my work.
Right.
My dog ate it.
Yeah, I want everything turned into Google Classroom. And so we get probably about 3/4 of the way through the school year, and I had a student, I'm watching them, and they're writing down the notes. And I was like, why are you writing down the notes? Well, Coach, I do better when I write. I remember better. And then I go home and I type it. I was like, why don't you just write it and take a picture of it with your phone and submit it as an attachment? I can do that. And I was like, yeah. So me not thinking about that.
Right.
And so I turn around and I ask, how many of y'all are more comfortable writing things out? And a bunch of them raised their hand. And I was like, oh. I said, well, how about this? How about those of y'all want to write things out? Do that. Just take a picture of it. Now, when we do writing assignments, like for DBQs and FRQs and stuff like that, then if you want to write out your stuff, that's fine. You can take a picture of it, show it to me. If I can read it, I'll accept it. But understand, typing out, if we have a length requirement, typing it out, writing out, two different things.
Yes.
I said, so write it out and then type it, which means you're going to have to be more diligent and focused in doing your work. And so far, it hasn't been a problem. So, and it's almost like allowing a modification or an accommodation without anybody having to be SPED or 504.
Formalized.
Yeah, it's doing what's best for the kid. If they're more comfortable writing this out, just understand if it's a writing assignment, I need you to type it out. and so far it hasn't been a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what happens, and this is what I tell teachers: when you allow kids to do that, you win them over.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but it's not hard.
Because they feel like they're heard and seen, you know?
Yeah.